In this video, I want to talk to you about my process that I went through and guide other clients on when thinking about their expert, their primary healthcare expert that they want to bring into their life. So let's dive in. We want to start with understanding that not all experts are the same. They're not trained the same. They don't have the same experience. And that can mean even attitude as well. And I want to focus on attitude for a minute with a quick story. I had the reference to go to a well-recognized gynecologist for my annual menopause checkup. I asked a lot of questions of this doctor, female gynecologist, and after about 45 minutes, I could see she was getting angrier and angrier at my odd question from a layman's perspective. And as we went on, she actually really lost the plot and got extremely angry with me. And needless to say, I walked out. It was actually quite a wounding experience because this person was meant to be an expert in women's health and yet had no patience. Literally with me, but also in terms of her attitude and her approach. So one of the most important things that we have to remember is that when we go to see a primary healthcare practitioner, they can often have a lot of titles, a lot of expertise and training. But if that training is not also complemented by the appropriate openness and attitude to answering questions, and to being open to a discussion, a two-way equal discussion, then that is a huge red flag and a warning signal that you may not have the best running partner, expert partner in your menopause journey. So make sure you have the confidence, even if it's a challenging discussion for yourself in your own head before you go back to the practitioner or indeed move on. And for some of my clients, their practitioners that they are consulting, their healthcare practitioners, have been in my client's life for decades. And so, of course, trust has built up. But please understand that an expert that might be great at certain medical conditions, general medicine, may not be the right person or expert for you when it comes to the very specific, specialized area, holistic area of menopause and perimenopause. So that's my first point. My second point is always, in my opinion, get a second opinion. It's really important to get a second opinion because even with the same title, even with similar experience, and make sure they have experience in menopause, as I've said before in other videos, they can still, each expert in menopause can differ in their attitude. So let me give you another example. I, as many of you know, have a high health risk background, and for many years didn't want to really look at menopause because I really thought it was off the table. And the high risk health background is really a history, family history of health background. But so when my menopause symptoms were becoming, for me, unmanageable, I had been enduring years of fairly aggressive symptoms. Sometimes they alleviated, sometimes I was able to work on them, but overall my fatigue was increasing to the point of impacting my life. So I decided to think about the unthinkable and consider hormone therapy. Spoiler alert, I went on hormone therapy for just over 3 years and have successfully rolled off some time ago. I can do another video. Let me know in the comments below if you'd like to know about that journey and how I got to the point of rolling on and rolling off, perhaps more about rolling off and what I've done since. So I decided when I was going to initially think about hormone therapy, it wasn't a definite at this stage, I would get more than one opinion. And in the end, I got 4. And even in the 4 opinions, all of which were specialists in menopause, all claimed to have experience in menopause, they differed in their attitude both in the way you should take the hormone, what sort of hormone, whether you should be on it for a short time, a long time, the list goes on. So what to do when you get something like that? And this is part of a different video I've done. Have a look in the link up here, which is you have to understand your own risk tolerance and realize that you need to make your own decision at the end of the day. But first consult experts and make sure those experts really have not only training in menopause, and not all of them do, and if they do have training in menopause, it's not very long, make sure they have experience, preferably tens of years of experience in menopause, hormones, perimenopause. Now, this is likely to be a bit rarer than the usual healthcare practitioner, but they are worth looking for because they are usually much more confident and have an open attitude to your questions. And that's vital as we swim through the dark waters, as we kind of make our way through the fog that can sometimes be in our way when we're trying to decide what to do in perimenopause and menopause. So definitely get more than one opinion, and remember that titles and experience do not necessarily confirm or make the expert that you think, and that's why more than one opinion is worthwhile. Now, the probably the most important one, which I think we can all get intimidated about, is that we must remember roles. That is, what is my job role and what is the expert's job role in my perimenopause or menopause journey. And that's why it's really important to remind yourself that you are in the driver's seat and you are the decision maker. And even if you make a decision that you maybe later regret, don't worry. You can, of course, revisit that decision, as I have done plenty of times. So a decision you make, even if you don't feel perhaps that you asserted your rights and yourself enough with the expert, that's fine. You can either go back in or maybe trial the decision that you were kind of swayed on by the expert. And if it doesn't work for you after even a week, then pick up the phone and tell them that you want to revisit that decision, or you don't want to do whatever it is that they recommended. I have an example of a friend of mine who went on hormone therapy because her doctor was really insisting on it. She was having trouble sleeping. She didn't have hot sweats. She lasted on hormone therapy 3 days and then had very strong reaction. Within a week, she rang the doctor and said, "I'm really sorry. I can't stay on hormone therapy. It's not for me." So, and this expert is actually this friend of mine is an expert in a field as well. So it can happen to any of us and to all of us, and that's fine. You just revisit that decision. But try and practice that you are the expert in your own body and your own symptoms and how you feel after a certain course of supplements or hormone therapy or whatever it is that your chosen expert might suggest. And they need to be open-eared and open in attitude if the suggested course you decide to take that they recommended doesn't work for you. And this is also a real red flag if there is no discussion, if there is no openness on your expert's part. In menopause, you need to have a conversation that is equal and that you bring your expertise about your symptoms, yourself, what you're feeling, what you want, and the expert brings their expertise, and it's equal, it's not unequal. Please remember that. The last thing I want to tell you about experts, and I don't mean to seem controversial, but it is actually true, they do not know everything. They really don't know everything about menopause. I will add, yet. So this is yet another reason for us to make sure that we have experts in our team you, for your menopause and perimenopause, that are open, have the right experience and the expertise and are supportive of you, because actually it's a journey for them as well. Every person is different going through menopause or perimenopause, and so the openness is needed for that reason, but also because there are more and more discoveries around how hormones are working in our body. More hormones are being discovered in terms of where they actually work in the body and where they don't. And there is plenty when you start diving into research where they still don't know a lot about menopause. For instance, there isn't definitive information yet on what causes a hot flash or flush. There is really strong indication, but no one is really pinpointing what they think. And even up until recently, 1 year ago, I was talking to a general practitioner, medical doctor, and we were talking about hot flashes because at that stage, some time ago, I'd rolled off my hormone therapy, but still occasionally experience hot flashes, even today. And her response was, well, we can put you on low dose antidepressants. And she must have seen my eyebrows and my face just fill with shock and horror, because I'd had that suggestion some decades before by another general practitioner who didn't really know anything about menopause at the time. But to get this from another practitioner was really a surprise some decades on. And so she said they think that it is our body clock that is out of whack and our temperature clock that is out of whack. And so antidepressants, low dose, seems to help regulate that. Now, that gives you an insight into the point about they don't know everything yet. And that should give you the confidence to feel like you are the expert in your own body and you seek advice, but ultimately the decision is for you. I hope this short video on experts and what to think about when choosing an expert and getting additional opinions has been helpful for you. If you'd like to know more secret tips which don't always make it to video, please join my newsletter in the link below. Thanks for watching.